So this is a bit of a refresh on stuff from IGCSE topic 1 about completing the square for a quadratic expression. This here is a quadratic expression. So the questions nearly always across a bunch of different syllabuses say it this way. So it says write this quadratic expression, in this case x squared minus 6x plus 1 in the form this here. X plus a in brackets squared plus b. So where a and b are integers. Blah, blah, blah. What that's telling you basically is complete the square. So the procedure is reasonably simple. Okay, what we're going to do is I'm going to rewrite the expression, x squared minus 6x plus 1, take control of the question. And the procedure is reasonably simple. What we're going to do is going to write x minus half of this thing here. So we put in half of the second term, close the brackets, squared. And then what we do is we subtract the square of this. Now, I'll show you why that is in this case. So minus 9. And not forgetting that plus 1. Okay, that hasn't gone anywhere. Okay, what we're finally going to do, notice that it says just one number here. So we've got to make sure that we do simplify it as well. But that's pretty easy. X minus 3 squared minus 9 plus 1. That becomes minus 8. Now, why did we subtract that 9? Well, let's think about what would happen if I expanded this. So if I had x minus 3 and I squared that, what I get is this system of brackets. And what's going to happen is x is going to multiply by x to get x squared. Then by negative 3 to get minus 3x. Then minus 3x again. And then the minus 3 multiplies into minus 3 and we get plus 9. Tidying that up, what we get is x squared minus 6x plus 9. So the thing is, if I just write x minus 3 squared, I get this, not this. So what I then do is if I subtract 9 from it, so let me just remove that circle. If I subtract 9 from it, well, the 9s will just cancel out. So what I get is x squared minus 6x. So it is equal to the original expression, as long as we remember to also add the 1. I'll do one more to explain it. What's really important at this stage, especially if you are just focused on passing the exam, then it's just remembering the procedure. Okay, the second one. So I'll give you a moment to think about what you might actually do when given this kind of question. I've just shortened the question down here. It says in the form, x plus a squared plus b. So what that's saying is complete the square. Taking a moment to think about that. Hopefully you've had your moments. You can even pause the video. What we should do then, I'm going to rewrite it, take control of the question, x squared plus 10x plus 2. And then remember, first of all, I'm focusing on the first two terms in the expression. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start my brackets and we're going to get x plus half of the original term. The x disappears from this. Well, it doesn't disappear, but it does if we're just removing the x. So then, not forgetting, we have to subtract the square of this. So minus 25. And not forgetting this plus 2 either. So plus 2. Tidy that up. X plus 5 squared minus 25 plus 2 becomes minus 23. There we go. Done. That's it in this form. Now, slightly more complicated. I'm not going to say more difficult, just more complicated because there's more stuff going on, is when we have a coefficient of x squared that is greater than 1. So what are we going to do here? Well, the first thing is notice that it asks the question a slightly different way. This time, we've got some number in front. And just the same as before, a, b, and c must all be integers. What we're going to do, again, we're going to rewrite the question, 2x squared minus 12x plus 23. Now, same as before, we're focusing on the first two terms, the 2x squared minus 12x. Now, what we can do, well, we're used to already working with expressions like this, where there's no coefficient in front of x, so the x squared. So let's get rid of the coefficient by factoring it out. So what we'll do is write 2 brackets x squared minus 6x. That 23 doesn't go anywhere, we still need that. And now what we can do is we can complete the square for this thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to follow my procedure, but I'm going to do it really step by step. So 2, and then got bracket here, because I'm recompleting the square for this one. So it's going to be x minus 3 squared. And remember, we've got to subtract the square of this term here. So it's going to be minus 9. You'll hopefully see why I've got the brackets in here still, because we need those. Plus 23. Finally, well, not quite finally, what I'm going to do is this 2 is going to multiply into this negative 9. Okay, we can't forget that because we want to write it nice and simple like this. So what we're going to have is 2, still there, multiplies into the x minus 3. Then we have minus 18 plus 23. Then we tidy it all up. So we have as 2 brackets x minus 3 squared, negative 18 plus 23. That gives us plus 5. And that's it. It's written in this form, A, B, and C. Another example here. This time we're factorizing the 3 out, or we're factoring the 3 out. So 3 brackets x squared minus 10x plus 63. So then again, we just complete the square for this in here. Now what you might decide to do is just grab this and do it separately, because maybe you find there's a bit too much going on. So I'm going to do that over here. I'm going to change color as well, because why not? So x squared minus 10x. If I complete the square for that, what I have is x minus 5 squared minus 25. So what happens is what I've got here is going to go in here, because this is exactly equivalent to this. So what I'm going to do, all right, 3, whoops, just chose eraser. 3 brackets x minus 5 squared minus 25, close those brackets, plus 63, because this whole thing goes in here. So then what I could see, all right, so 3 still multiplies into x minus 5 squared minus 75, because the 3 has got to multiply into that, and then plus 63. Tidy it all up, 3 brackets x minus 5 squared, subtract 75 plus 63, what that's going to give me is minus 12, and I'm done.